So I guess we tell House to let's head that way and pull this off here real quick so we can get the real job done and get out of here. I'm starting to get the creeps.
As you guys are leaving the airport and you're making that decision, Malibu gets a phone call on his comlink and he excuses himself for a second and he says, "Hey guys, I really hate to do this, but I got something that just came up. Apparently some dreck went down with some work that I was working on before you guys went here, and I have to I really have to go and yeah, I gotta fix something." And then he kind of bids you farewell and rides off on his motorcycle.
All right. Well, so we're on our way to Janice, following our street map.
Yep, you are driving your way to Janus Industries. By now, you're almost accustomed to driving in the rain and wind that is blowing around in Chicago. At least it beats walking any distance in. At least it beats walking any distance in all this Chicago weather. As you approach 1501 North Greenview Avenue, you see a right triangular brick building lined with boarded up windows. The building is dark. It looks like it might have been a school in a previous life, but now it bears the word Janus, J-N-U-S, in some techie-looking letters above the barricaded glass doors in front. At the southeast corner of the building, a lone door lies open, hanging precariously from one hinge and pinned open by a trash can.
All right, Yonkers, how should we approach this?
Looking at it, we got 3-4 stories. We got a roof, which means we have some sort of roof access, at least on the inside, which also means we probably have an external access. There's to be fire escapes, and I'm going to guess at least 3 to 5 points of egress or ingress.
There's definitely 2 floors to the building, and as I described, in case you missed it, the most obvious entrance, which is of course not always the best entrance, but the most obvious entrance is the front door is practically off its hinges and being propped open by a trash can.
All right, well, at least we know we're not having to break in, but if it's propped open by a trash can, my money is that we probably have squatters.
Well, I think one of the easiest things to do might be for me to send one of my little gremlins into the top floor. I'm thinking the Horizon in particular, because it can simply just roll itself along the floor. It doesn't even need to whiz, which tends to make more noises. And we can just do a very quick, we can at least clear one floor and then choose an entrance point, either ground level or try to get in from the top.
I can also look astrally.
Well, you never know. They may have made the walls out of living flesh or something. I don't know these things.
Well, let's let the whiz kid do his whiz kid shit.
Happy to, Mr. Yonkers. All right, gonna go astrally perceive and project. Go check the place out.
All right. Of course, when you enter the astral plane, the whole astral area of the containment zone is very muddied and chaotic in the containment zone here in Chicago. I'm giving you just a natural background count of 2 right here, which is something you've already encountered, so nothing new. But the building looks pretty normal from the outside. How would you like to approach?
I will go straight in through the front door.
All right. Well, going in through the front door, let me go ahead and reveal the map to you all the way. It'll make this whole thing a little bit easier. It's no reason to approach this mysteriously. So the front door is that southwest entrance there, where the 90-degree angle, is. So you go into the front door there, and here's nothing. It's worn out and dingy, and it looks like it from the astral plane anyway. As far as you can tell, it's kind of devoid of a lot of it doesn't look like a lot's happened here in a long time.
I just want to take a look around the bottom floor, the restrooms and the service and loading bay, and then also go upstairs and see if there's any squatters.
All right, give me just a general perception roll.
2 successes.
All right, moving around the building is pretty easy. Again, there's not a lot exciting in the area. You go upstairs, and upstairs is not particularly exciting either. Again, it looks like nothing's happened here in a really long time. There is a basement.
Well, let us go down into the dark.
All right, the basement is a little bit more interesting. Again, there's not a lot that you can see going on here. Exciting in terms of, like, there's nobody down there, except you can see. Well, give me another perception test. Okay,
2
you can see
successes.
some what look like auras of life still and sitting and almost kind of floating in what look like some tubes, but without sensing them, it's going to be hard to know exactly what they are. They're these cylindrical kind of things down there. Let me see. There's a dozen of them, or 10 or 12 of them.
All right, I'm kind of float up to him and look, and I am going to sense one of them. Ooh,
Well,
one
they're
success.
humanoid forms, and they're alive, but they're not living in the sense that they're, like, there's not any emotional anything going on. You can detect life, but that's about it. It seems pretty dull and muted and almost lifeless, but there's clearly life, but it's not like that you're used to looking at, like people on the street.
Are they magically active? Dollars to donuts and ghouls.
They're not. They are not awakened. They are mundane.
Well, you never know here in Chicago. It could just be a run-of-the-mill mutant.
All right, well, after being thoroughly freaked out, I'm going to come back to my body and report. Say that the intel seemed to be right. Looks abandoned, however, in the basement there are some test tube life forms, and don't really know what they are, but it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Well, perhaps I should send someone in now. One of my drones can go in and take some actual photos, bring a feed back to us.
Yeah, there's no danger. There's nobody there. And I don't think that the test tube ites are going anywhere, so I think it's safe.
Okay, I'm going to go into the lobby, as long as it looks safe from the exterior, and then I'll run the drones down into the basement from there, depending on how much noise there is in the matrix.
The matrix here has a general noise level of 2, I believe. Yeah, 2.
Okay, if you're going into the lobby, we probably all should go so you're not in there by yourself.
Well, I thought should we let one of his drones go in? And I don't know if anything like this.
Yeah.
But should we be looking for traps somehow?
Yeah, I thought you were going to send your drone in. I didn't realize you were going to go in yourself.
Well, I was going to send the drone down into the basement where Dr. Davros says he discovered some unusual life forms. I figured since he says the ground floor was uninhabited that it should be fine, but yeah, better to be safe than sorry. I can have the drone go into the lobby initially and clear it for us.
Well, I'm just saying because I don't really know what traps look like, and I thought maybe you guys would, be able to spot it if we could get a feed going on. It just seems kind of weird to have some test tubes with life forms in them just kind of sitting in an abandoned building.
So, yeah, it could be that there could be something in there that has absolutely no astral presence as well. We could follow your drone in, put your drone in first, and then have it do a scout, and then follow it in, have it go down to the basement, follow it down, that kind of thing. That would make sense to me.
Yeah, let me do a full sweep in the lobby first, and we'll establish it as a safe zone, and then we'll just systematically go through the building after that. All right, GM, I'm gonna send one of my micro drones, one of the skimmers about the size of a coaster in a pub. I'm gonna send it up to the edge of the front door and look for an entrance where it would be able to go in, or like a crack or a hole in the structure otherwise.
What do you want to call this drone? What's its name?
I got two of them, so we'll call them Ping and Pong.
All right, here's Ping.
So with that drone operating, I'm going to use my RCC to slave it directly to me and to fire up the clear sight autosoft for it so it can run its own perception checks. And it's going to be the only device that I'm going to currently run through my RCC, so I'm going to use the rest of its data attribute to compensate for noise.
Got it. What's the rating of the clear sight?
It's rating 3 autosoft.
All right, and it uses the sensor rating as the other part of its perception, right?
Well, I'll just use a point of edge to just make it a simple glitch.
All right, still no successes, but it did glitch. So what happened is, as it's moving through, it moved through the lobby and it detected something in those stairs, and it went through into the stairs, and you lost you seem to have lost control of it. It's no longer connected, and you can't detect it anymore.
Chasin. Okay, so all right, my friends. It looks like my drone was trying to lock onto a signature and investigate it with its sensors, and it seems to have wandered into the stairwell right adjacent to the lobby, and I've lost contact with it. I'm afraid we're going to have to at least go into the lobby in order for me to reestablish contact. I think it's kind of premature to launch a separate drone into it at this point.
So, I mean, was that just like a technical thing, or did something happen to it?
I believe it was just a technical malfunction. It detected something, and it was trying to lock on with the sensors to determine what sort of a reading it was getting, and then I lost contact when it wandered over by the stairwell.
All right, I'm going to go in and make sure it didn't get got.
All right, I'm pretty sure it's just simple environmental interference. There's a lot of signal noise here in the area, and I can only compensate so much. Head inside and do a comlink check just to establish that we've got comms.
So Yonkers is going to pull out the combat shotgun and whittle-waddle his way over to, what would that be, the near side of the door, and do a screen on the inside, make sure that nothing obvious and apparent is inside, drones, etc.
All right, give me a perception test.
I have a charming 3 successes.
All right, as you're looking through the door, you see the dilapidated, old sort of lobby of Janus Industries that has been described to you from the perspective of a magician in the astral plane, and it looks like nobody's been there in a really long time. No drones and no sign of life.
Start catwalking my, well, not catwalking, but sneakily walking in and checking around and going over towards where he said the drone might have been.
All right, roll sneaking.
Another charming 3 successes.
Okay, you're able to make it over to the stairwell door without much incident. Well, with no incident. You're able to get over things fine and seem to be moving very quietly over to the stairs.
So once I get over to the stairs, I'm just going to be still, and I'm going to do the all-important skill of listen.
All right, give me one more perception test.
I'm super awesome with 4 successes.
All right, you listening to the stairwell, you actually don't seem to hear anything. It seems pretty darn silent, pretty dead silent to you.
All right, I'm going to give it about 20 heartbeats, and then, slice the pie around the corner and see where the drone is.
As you slowly move down the stairs, you're able to very quietly get down to the bottom of the stairs. It's just one level down. And at the bottom of the stairs, just inside a doorway that leads into another room, you see the drone just sitting nicely and quietly on the ground just inside the door.
I hit the sub vocal, comm check, comm check.
You guys are able to hear him.
What does it look like inside there? You're coming in loud and clear.
Looks like I'm going to send over a smart link off my goggles, or not goggles, but glasses, and doesn't look like you got anything exactly. Looks like the drone just went out of wireless range. It's sitting in front of me.
Yep. You actually see that there are lights on inside the door. Are you going through the door?
Not yet.
Yeah, so you see the drone. Everybody, you can see the feed that he's giving you through the comm feed. The drone's sitting there on the ground. There's lights on inside there, and there were no lights anywhere else on in the building, but there are lights on down inside this door. Some nice, warm, comforting fluorescence.
Well, we've got some options before you proceed. If you don't mind me accessing your comm link, I can try to establish a connection through it to try to connect to the drone and see if I can retrieve it. Otherwise, it's very small. You could pick it up yourself if you want to proceed into the stairwell. It's unusual that there are lights on, though, out when the rest of the building seems pitch black.
Piggyback off me. I don't want to walk into a room not knowing what's in there.
All right, since he's already cleared the lobby, why don't the rest of us move in?
Let's do this one by the numbers. Let me try to establish the connection. If I can't, and it really is a question of how much background noise there is, then yeah, I vote we move into the lobby at that point.
Right, but Yonkers is already downstairs by himself. That's my point.
Well, he's not downstairs. He's in the stairwell. But let's just move forward. I don't want to hold up the group. We got another job to do. At this point, Haunted House will take out his HK-227 and he'll just double check all the drones in the vehicle just to make sure that they're ready to go, and he'll step out of the vehicle and wait for the others to start walking toward the building.
All right. Well, you guys are able to make it into the lobby, of course, with no problems.
I'm keeping an ear out towards that door just to see if I hear anything, but
what you can see looks like it's basically a hallway. Yonkers is what he sees. It's a hallway. There's a door up. Like, if you were to go into the hallway, there's a door up and to the right, and there's a hallway to the left.
All right, well, I'm going to wait till backup shows up, So
are you guys all heading down the stairs behind Yonkers?
Yeah, I think so. But what's the time, real quick?
About 11 o'clock at night.
Okay, I'm gonna say, all right, y'all head over there. I'm gonna stay back real quick. I'm gonna bring a friend along with us. That the basement creeped me out. So I'm gonna stay in the lobby real quick, and I am going to summon a spirit.
All right, roll it. The rest of you guys, you get down the stairs and you're behind Yonkers. You see the same thing. Directly ahead of you is a hallway with a door. Ahead in the hallway, there's a door to the right and to the left.
Hey, real quick, am I rolling a -2, right, for the background count?
Yes.
Oh.
All right. What force spirit were you?
Well, I was gonna do a force 4, but I'm going to spend a point of edge to reroll that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So were you able to get your drone back?
It's right there. I'm going to hang tight while Davros does his thing, and then I'm going to try to jump into it directly. And so if it goes out of contact, I'll have an idea for how far away it seems to be from me and my command console, and also if it seems like there's any sort of electronic interference before I lose contact.
So you fail to summon a spirit.
Yep. After my failed attempt, I'm gonna walk. I'll walk down to where they are.
So while he's doing that, Haunted House is going to activate his vehicle control rig once he's within visual sight of his drone and attempt to jump directly into it.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get it up and running again, and you're inside. You are the drone.
I send a message through my pan into my comm link out to the group and say, I've reestablished control of my drone. I'm going to scout ahead and try to do a direct sensor sweep and see if I lose contact with it again.
Lock me in. I'm going to follow you in. Hey, Davros, stay with House's body.
And
Alrighty.
GM, as soon as I start, I want to move forward about 3 meters into the hallway that everyone can see as the drone, and I want to activate my radio scanning sensor and do a perception check. 2 successes.
All right. You don't. There's nothing particularly interesting going on in here. In fact, you oddly don't detect much electronics at all. The lights are on. You can wirelessly see the lights, but there's not much in the way of. You can't detect really much of anything else. The doors, the doors up ahead and to the right, they are kind of ajar.
Well, guys, I don't detect any unusual radio transmissions. The radiation level seems to be normal, and there isn't any unusual chemicals or gases, so it's safe for us to proceed, but it looks like one of the doors is open up ahead.
All right. Well, scout that door. I'm going to follow in behind you. Everyone else, secure the exit through the stairway in case we need to bug out quick. What do the doors at the south right look like?
They're just closed. They look the same as the ones across. They're just double doors. They're just closed, and the other ones are ajar.
Any sort of visible markings on them? You know, janitor's closet. You know, employees only. Anything like that?
It says utility.
Awesome. Tells me exactly what I was looking for. All right, all yours, House.
All right, I'm gonna move the drone through the open double doors.
As soon as you go in through those doors, you immediately get dropped out, and the drone stops. And I think that if you just get dumped out, that counts as dump shock.
Yep, rolling dump shock. I got 2 successes.
So that's 4 stun.
Right, 4 stun.
The drone made it just a little bit in before it fell down. And you lost connection. Like it's obvious to you that the wireless signal was lost.
I just got dump shocked from my drone, and it seems like it's definitely a signal issue. I didn't detect any electronic warfare or jamming, so it's just this shitey network. I don't think I'm going to be able to use my drones in the building.
Was about to say, are you getting some mechanical malfunction over there? They have pills for that, I think.
Nah, my technology is fine. There's no fault with my machines, but it's just this building obviously hasn't been maintained, and we're not in the best neighborhood, especially by Puyallup standards. If it's all right with you, I'm going to just deactivate my drone and pick it up, and then I'll just have to proceed on foot.
It works. I'm going to peek through the door, see if I see anything new.
The hall looks pretty boring. There's not a lot going on.
What is the flooring? Is it tile, carpet?
It's tile.
Is there a buildup of dust?
It doesn't look like it's been, as far as you can tell, it's not like squeaky clean or anything, like somebody just mopped and there should have been a wet floor sign or anything. But it just looks like it's a generally clean building. Definitely a stark contrast to the floor above you.
Yeah, so it's telling me that there's some general level of occupation in this building.
Absolutely.
Well, the fact that the lights are still on, recent is an operative word. I believe current is probably better. All right, hey guys, let's make sure the door is propped open and let's start making our way forward. I have a hunch that we're going to make contact with somebody.
All right. Do you want me to go through and check the other rooms?
If you can't maintain visual, or your drone can't stay active. I don't think there's a point. Um, we haven't
No,
moved
I meant myself, not using the drone.
top side or down here.
Um, Let me start down here with the other rooms besides the double doors that my drone just went through. That way we simply eliminate them as being, insignificant and unoccupied otherwise.
Check and see if one of these utility closets has the breakers.
It's not very remarkable. It's utility in the sense that um there's a lot of like cleaning supplies, general kind of janitorial supplies there.
So more custodial than like
Yeah.
infrastructure utility.
Yeah, and I probably should have said the door said custodial. That's the word that would have been more appropriate.
Okay. Overcom link. Well, this is mostly just a large custodial closet with some cleaning supplies and other stuff like that. So nothing in here that will give us any assistance. I say everyone start to move forward. I'll secure the stairwell and make sure it stays accessible, and I'll come and bring up the rear.
As you approach the largest room in the basement, it looks like these doors that are coming up on your right as you go into this hallway up in the double doors. You see a dead dwarf in a lab coat lying in the open doorway, and his head is kind of cocked in a decidedly unpleasant angle. Two human corpses lie just inside the doorway, one wearing an armor jacket with the Janus Industries logo on it.
How fresh the bodies look as a expert of making dead bodies.
You can make a. Do you have medicine or first aid?
I have first aid.
You can make a first aid test, first aid plus logic.
I have 2 successes. I'm awesome.
All right, yeah. So you kind of bend down and carefully looking around, making sure nothing's coming at you or anything. You kind of bend down to check these bodies to see what happened, and from your knowledge of first aid, you kind of check it out and check out what's happened. It looks like all three of the bodies, the dwarf and the two humans, were killed by some kind of blunt force trauma. The dwarf took a single punch to the face that snapped its head back violently and broke its neck. And each of the humans suffered a kick to the groin, followed by a snapped neck by a blow to the base of the neck. So they looked like they were taken out quickly by some sort of unarmed hand-to-hand attack.
All right, and I'm assuming there are further cloning vats in here.
Yeah, inside you can see the rest of the room. The rest of the room jumps. It looks right out of a sci-fi horror trid. 12 cloning tanks line the room. 11 of them contain identical dark-haired human females, all in suspended animation. The 12th tank, though, is open, and some of its fluids are spilled across the floor. As you look around and in awe and take your eyes off of the tanks, you notice that on one of the tables lies a scalpel, an open medkit, a comlink, and a small medical implant device, all covered in dried blood. Basically, it looks like something bad happened here. You notice as you move further into here, you would have probably done something about this right away, but you were distracted by the bodies you saw on the ground. But as you kind of moved in, you lost wireless connection with the rest of your team. Everybody else, Case, Haunted House, and Davros, you no longer can detect the wireless signature of Yonkers.
I whistle through my teeth.
I used my spatial recognizer and my cyber ears to try to pick up which direction that whistle came from.
Yeah, you can easily find where he's coming from. He's not far down the hall, and putting two and two together, the fact that you lost the wireless connection and you hear like a whistle that's just kind of like a hey, over here, guys.
Well, it certainly seems like it's just a wireless issue with Yonkers just dropping off like that. You guys, you ready to move out?
Hey, guns up, eyes up. If you see a girl with black hair, shoot first.
What if I see a blonde Fräulein?
Not my problem.
Not your fortune, I dare say.